Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully, you all are doing well. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, man. We've got U.S. Open. U.S. Open betting card is out. Go to my Twitter or my Instagram, and you will be able to find it there. U.S. Open betting card is out and posted. A lot more bets than I typically would have, but you guys know that's what happens when when you're attending an event. You spray a little bit. I took some bets that I typically wouldn't take or I would consider minus EV bets. But I don't care since I'm going to be there on the weekend. I'm looking to have some guys in position. So we have something to root for on the weekend. That's the main goal. So yeah, we'll go through it. We're going to preview, the course, the tournament, all that stuff today. And then we will talk hockey as well. We'll talk NBA as well. Big win. Florida Panthers up 2-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. They took that game last night in dominating fashion. Wasn't even close. 6-1 or something? Crazy. I did say on stream yesterday, again, I am not a hockey guy. I'll never pretend to be a hockey guy. But I told you guys yesterday, I thought Verhaeghe was due for a goal. He did score. I wish I would have bet it. I kind of forgot about it until the game started, and then I saw it was 2-0, and I looked and Verhaeghe had scored. I was like, oh well, I probably should have bet that. Nothing worse than giving out a winning pick and you didn't actually give it out because you didn't bet it. Like, there's nothing worse than that. Give a favorite MLB play. There's a no sweat on DraftKings. Let me take a look. MLB yesterday for me, I essentially broke even. I ended up another prime example of what I just talked about. There's nothing worse than giving out a winning pick and then you didn't actually give it out because you didn't take it. I talked about Ray's first 5 innings on the stream yesterday. Didn't put it in. Did they win the first 5 innings? Yes, they did. Why did I not put it in? I have no idea. Don't ask me. But I ended up taking like 4 baseball bets, I think, and I went 2-2, and I lost $10. So it was essentially a break-even day for me yesterday. I had Jose Ramirez to record an RBI. That was a winner. I had the over 8.5 in the Reds-Guardians game. That was a winner. And then I had the Cubs on the money line, which I talked about on stream yesterday. That ended up losing in extra innings. And then I had Guardians team total over 4.5, and they scored 4. So kind of some bad luck, I would say, yesterday. Like, definitely, the margin of a 2-2 versus a 4-0 day was extremely slim. I mean, the Cubs had the lead in extra innings, and they couldn't hold on to it. So that was unfortunate. Had I just taken the Rays, too, it would have been a 3-2 night. And it would have looked a lot better. And then the Guardians, I mean, I don't understand how they scored 4. I don't know. Whatever. As far as a baseball pick for tonight, we can look at that quickly. I had some spots circled, have not taken anything. Let me check. Let me check what I had. I had like a couple spots written down that I wanted to look into. Let me see. If you guys have any questions on anything, like Ryan just asked, favorite MLB play. If you have any questions on NBA, MLB, hockey, U.S. Open, whatever, drop them in the chat. We're gonna preview hockey, or we're gonna preview the golf tournament here in a second. Let me see. Where was my list at? Oh, here we go. I had the over once again in Cleveland circled, and I mean, it's at 8.5 now. It was 8 when I looked like last night. I was semi-interested. Also interested in potentially the Red Sox, potentially Well, I guess they're not Oakland anymore. The future Las Vegas A's. A little bit interested there. Uh, I don't know right now, Ryan. If you had to ask me, like, if I was forced to pick a play right now that I like, it'd probably be this over 8.5 Cincy Cleveland. But I don't have a firm answer for you at the moment. I had some spots circled, but I have not looked directly into baseball yet. A lot of golf research the last like 48 hours. I'm gonna publish a blog later, US Open preview blog with some notes on stuff. And yeah, so that's gonna come out on the blog at some point later tonight. So a lot of golf research has been done the last like 48 hours. All right. Let's get into it. Like I said, full betting card is out on my Twitter or my Instagram. Go check that out if you want. This is going to be, in my opinion, this is the best possible golf tournament or type of golf tournament that you can have, in my opinion. I know everyone loves the Masters. I personally would rank a hard US Open, like this is going to be above the Masters for me. I think that it's so fun to watch these guys, struggle and have to figure out how to manage a hard course. This is going to essentially be the hardest course that these guys will play on tour. Like, you really can't get harder than this course. So I'm really, really excited for this. So if you don't know, it's a par 70. It's very long. It's like 7,400 yards, basically, par 70. So definitely long for that par 70 score. There's a really, really long par 3, which I don't even know if I like that. I don't know if you guys have seen this. They have like a par 3 that's like 290 yards. Most guys were hitting driver on it yesterday in their practice rounds. That's kind of gimmicky, I feel like, but that's the nature of what we're dealing with this week. It's a very, very hard course though, and the greens are going to be pretty fast. The rough is going to be thick. There's definitely going to be a penalty if you're not in the fairway. And I think figuring out, in my opinion, when we're playing these very, very challenging golf courses, I just don't think there's a large group of people that can push through and win them. I think that the group of guys that can win this golf tournament is 10 or less. Some people may differ on that, but that's how I view it. I think that finding the balance between, how valuable is it to hit the fairway? I think first and foremost for me, greens and reg is going to be most important. You have to get on the green in regulation. I think that, I've seen people argue for Bryson in this instance, and I've seen people argue against them because of the distance factor. If you look at just course comps for Oakmont, probably the closest thing you're going to get is like Winged Foot, which they played in the 2020 US Open. That was Bryson's first US Open win. He was 6 under. Nobody else was under par. And he essentially just took that mantra of, I'm going to hit it as far as I can, even if it's in the rough, and go from there. I don't think that exact style is going to be applicable here because of how challenging this rough is going to be to play out of. So I definitely think, you're going to have to hit the fairway. These are very, very narrow fairways, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys have, watched golf prior. The last time that the US Open was here was 2016. I don't know if you've looked into the course, but very narrow fairways. And in 2016, Dustin Johnson won. He was essentially at that time, that was peak Dustin Johnson. He was at the peak of his powers. He led the field in driving distance that tournament. He also was top 15, top 20 in driving accuracy. And he was very, very good in accuracy as a whole and hitting greens. So he just played fantastic. And he finished, under par at that 2016 US Open. And again, I don't think anyone else was under par. Like he was 4 back going into Sunday and then just completely went nuclear and took over and went and won the golf tournament. So, you know, if you guys remember Sam, who I used to do content with, I was talking to him a little bit and he was like, you know, a lot of these guys are going to miss fairways. So even if Bryson, like he told me I feel like Sam isn't typically on Bryson. And he told me he likes Bryson this week because with how far he can hit it, it's going to be advantage to have a wedge out of the rough versus a long iron, which I totally agree with. I think that the guys that don't hit it super long and just kind of plod along, I think those guys can be in the mix in this tournament if they're just steady, you know, sitting around even par. Even par would be a great success at this tournament, and I think that would certainly get you in the mix to win. I think those plodding guys like that can be in the mix, but I don't know if that will ultimately win you the golf tournament when we get to the weekend. So how I kind of view this is, and if you look at my betting card, I don't typically ever bet a winner without. I don't typically ever bet this market, but I think it's especially useful this week from multiple perspectives. I just think Scotty Scheffler is so far and above everybody as a complete golfer right now. And I think that's telling, and that's why he's below 3-1 to win this golf tournament. And I think if you play this golf tournament 50 times, he's going to win the majority of them. So I think that is weighing on me because I'm not going to take a 280. I'm just not going to take a plus 280 to win a golf tournament. I'm just not going to do it. So I think that supports your case of taking a winner without market. And then factor in, again, like I said, I think that the group of guys that can win this is very small. And 4 of them, you can bet the tournament without 4 of the 9 guys that I think can win this golf tournament. So that in itself makes it a little bit easier for me too. So these are minus EV bets historically. I don't typically take them. I wouldn't typically recommend it. But since I'm going this weekend and I want to have bets in the mix, I'm going to be taking some of those bets because I'm not going to bet Scotty Scheffler at plus 280 and I'm not going to bet Bryson at plus 750. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to take those numbers. And those are the two, like, that's why they're that low of odds. Like, they're the 2 most likely guys to win. I think, like, Bryson DeChambeau already has won 2 U.S. Opens. I don't know if, like, I've gone back and forth on if I really think he is a strong course fit for this track. Even though I just said he won at Winged Foot, which is like the closest comp you're going to get, I just don't know if he's in the rough a lot. I just don't know if that's going to equate, you know, enough for him to win. I just don't know. It's an unknown factor, but he's already won 2 U.S. Opens. He's probably going to win 3, 4, 5 of them in his career. Like, I don't think that's a stretch to say he's going to win 2 or 3 more U.S. Opens. He's very, very well tailored and well equipped to play U.S. Open golf with his length off the tee. It's just a course by course variable, and you know where they're playing will affect it, and that affects it this year. And then Scotty Scheffler is just the most complete golfer in the world, the best golfer in the world, and really, really tailor made. I think that some of his Scotty Scheffler's been winning golf tournaments in recent weeks, and he has not been playing his best golf, which is scary. Like, if you catch Scotty Scheffler on a week that he's playing good golf, if that's this weekend, it's very likely he's 4 under and no one else is under par. I think that is a very likely scenario. Part of what makes him so good and what makes him able to win consistently, even when he's not playing his best golf, is just how creative he is and how well he can manage a golf course. I think some of that creativity gets neutered by the rough and just what you can do if you end up in trouble. But at the same time, he is the best in the world at managing a golf course, and that's going to come in plenty handy this week. And we also have the revenge tour factor for Scotty Scheffler because he pretty candidly and openly spoke about how he doesn't like the setup at Pinehurst #2, where the U.S. Open was last year. He didn't play well in the U.S. Open last year. He, you know, was not in the mix basically at any point. And he's never won a US Open. So I'm sure he wants to come out and win this, especially after a poor showing in Pinehurst last year. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the top guys. And I would be pretty surprised, honestly, if Scotty doesn't win. But I'm going to tell you about the guys that I think can win after him. Jon Rahm can certainly win. I don't know, man. I just always have a weird feeling about him. He can definitely win, but I'm not going to be betting him. I know a lot of people probably will be. Same thing with Rory. Like, I just don't really see how you could click Rory at 12-1 this week. I know there's people out there that love Rory. I know that typically Rory's game would set up pretty well here. I just don't see how you trust him mentally right now. I mean, he's candidly spoke about how the motivation is a real thing for him now that he's completed the career Grand Slam. I don't know how motivated he is. I don't think like he's not motivated to go win a major, but he hasn't been playing well. And I don't really know if I can trust him mentally right now. So I actually, if you look at my betting card, I took him to miss the cut at 3-1. He did miss the cut here in 2016. Don't really know how much that kind of factors in, but it just supports the case a little bit further, I guess. So Rory to miss the cut, 3-1 is on my card. Xander, I don't know, man. I mean, he won 2 majors last year, but he really hasn't shown it at any point this season, and I don't know how you can expect him to just flip a switch and go win on the hardest golf course in the country after he hasn't played well all year. So that's kind of my take on the top guys. I'm just not betting these numbers, and I don't love any of these other guys here. I do have Ludwig Åberg on my card. You guys know, if you follow me, I'm just a sucker for Ludwig. I really am. I didn't anticipate being on him coming into the week, but he just, man, you just like, I don't know what it is about him. I mean, I love his game. I love watching him, but I just have a soft spot for him. He started to play better the last few weeks. Really at Muirfield, he turned it on in the weekend, and then he played pretty decent, like his best week in a while in Canada last week. Another just tailor-made U.S. Open player. Like, I think I would be pretty surprised if he does not win a U.S. Open in the next 5 years. Will it be this year? I don't know, but he sets up well. He has the club head speed to navigate this rough if he gets in it. And I'm just a sucker for him. He had a lead going to the weekend at Pinehurst last year. I'm going to take Åberg. I got him at 30-1, though. He's 22-1. I don't really know if I'd bet 22-1 to be quite honest with you. I want to see if he's still 30-1 on DraftKings, because I'm not really interested at 22-1. He's still 30. So if you want to tail Ludwig and add him to your exposure this week, take him on DraftKings. He's 30-1 to win on DraftKings and 22-1 on FanDuel. So you're getting a massive, massive difference in odds there on DraftKings. And yeah, I would definitely take that. Morikawa, I mean, he should be in the fairway here so he can have success. It's just another guy that just really hasn't been playing his best golf. So I don't really know how you trust him to do that heading to the weekend on the toughest course. Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka and Tyrrell Hatton. This range is very interesting to me. I like all these guys. So I took Hatton in the winner without market. I took Straka in the winner without market, and I also have Sepp Straka from a much larger number from earlier on in the season. If you guys remember, we can go on this YouTube channel, Rolling Insights, and go back to a stream. I don't know which stream it is, but there's a stream from January or February where I told you guys that I thought Sepp Straka was going to win the U.S. Open, and I bet him, and he was like 80-1. So I don't know. I want to go find that. If he does somehow win, I need to go find that clip. That will be reposted everywhere. But I think these guys all set up well. Shane Lowry actually had a lead in 2016 going to the final round at Oakmont. I think Shane Lowry, first of all, I took Shane Lowry first round leader as well. Should be good vibes for him early morning tee time. He's playing with his best friend, Rory McIlroy. He's played well when he's played with Rory this season and in the past. And he sets up well for this course. I mean, this course is a little, it is like links style in a sense. So some of these Euro guys can have success there, specifically Shane Lowry, who's a great links player. And he's played honestly really good this season. He's just not been able to play on Sunday for whatever reason. I don't know. Shane Lowry has really, really struggled to close this season, but he's played fantastic. I think he has multiple T2s this season. He's got multiple like T12s this season. He's played really, really well. And he was playing well in Canada. Fell apart on Sunday. He was playing well a couple times earlier this season and just fell apart on Sunday. So that's why I think him in the winner without market is interesting, because if that trend continues, maybe he's once again in the mix going to Sunday and he just doesn't do enough to win, but he's still right there in the mix and gives you a chance to cash that winner without. And he's a great course fit. Same with Sepp Straka. I personally think Sepp Straka should be half of this number. I think he should be up in this 30 to 1 range. I honestly do. He has won multiple times this season. He is an amazing course fit. He's extremely accurate off the tee, which we just talked about was key. He's a great putter. He struggles around the greens a little bit, but he can make up with that with how good of a putter he is. And if he's in the fairway and able to get on the green, I think he's going to have a great chance to win. Another guy that has excelled, playing link style golf, and he's been in good form. I mean, Muirfield is a very challenging course. He just came, T2 there. He had a great showing at pretty good showing earlier this season as well. I mean, he was in better form earlier this season when he won twice, but I mean, he's coming off that T2 at Muirfield. So I like Sepp Straka a lot, and I think he's a great course fit. Hatton, it's tougher for me to gauge these live guys' form because it's kind of just an unknown outside of Bryson. But I mean, Hatton sets up pretty well here as well. And he honestly he played good at the Masters, to be honest with you. Just didn't do enough to win on Sunday. But yeah, I really like this 50 to 1 range is really tasty to me, especially if you're looking at, winner without bets. It's a really good range, really strong range for me. And then you get farther down. I mean, even like Corey Connors, not great recent form, but pretty accurate off the tee. Again, not great recent form, and not great U.S. Open history, but he did have his best finish at a U.S. Open last year at Pinehurst. So, and I think that would correspond with Corey Connors just becoming a better golfer over time. Ryan, to answer your question earlier, do you play PGA DFS or just bet? I do both. I don't grind PGA DFS like I do other sports, but I'll definitely play during the majors. But I mean, I bet golf pretty much every week. I think anyone that watches the streams knows that. And then you said you like Keegan. I do like Keegan Bradley as well. Another guy that kind of streaky in his career in U.S. Opens, but similar to Corey Connors, coming off like some of his best U.S. Open performances the last few years, and that would correspond with his recent form. He's played great this season as well. I think he sets up pretty well here. I don't want to skip over even Russell Henley's not on my card, but if Russell Henley was in the mix on Sunday, I would not be shocked whatsoever. Ben Griffin has come out of nowhere this season, but you guys remember we were betting him pretty regularly early on. He definitely has the distance to win here if he can be accurate off the tee. And he's coming in with as good of a recent form as literally anybody. He's won 2 times in the last month and a half, if you want to count that team event as a win. But yeah, I'm a big Ben Griffin fan. Now we're getting down into this range. I don't really you couldn't pay me to take a 100 to 1 to win the US Open, but if you want to do winner without, I think that is fine. Or if you want to do, each way, like betting places, like top 8 or whatever, I think that's fine with some of these guys down here too. Like taking Harris English each way, 8 places, or a winner without, I actually think is not bad. He's actually gotten a ton of buzz, which I don't like. I don't like when these like high odds guys are trendy, but Harris English is an underrated U.S. Open player. He's never missed the cut at the U.S. Open. He finished top 5 at Oakmont in 2016, I believe. And he's played well this season, too. He has a win this season. And I know Sam, who I mentioned earlier, he's a big like Harris English fan. So I don't like how trendy he's getting, but I am interested. Love English. I was on him at the PGA. Sucks that everyone seems to be on him. Yeah, I know that does suck. That's why I said I don't like when these high odds guys get trendy, but I don't know. I don't know if I really care, just because it feels right to me. So I actually have him to make the cut, parlayed with Lowry to make the cut on my card, and then I have him in that winner without market as well. Another guy I'm semi interested in down here. You could sell me on a Taylor Pendrith. You could sell me. You could sell me on a Taylor Pendrith, betting him top 8, places. Probably not to win. Same thing with Aaron Rai. So I have Aaron Rai top 20 on my card. I don't think Aaron Rai has any chance of winning the U.S. Open, but I just told you guys earlier, I think these like guys that can plot around and make par can just be in the mix. I certainly think Aaron Rai can do that. He finished tied for 19th at Pinehurst last year. He's the most accurate player in the field in terms of hitting fairways, which is going to keep you. That's automatically should keep you in the mix at a course like this. He doesn't do anything else like other than hitting fairways. He doesn't do anything else good enough, I think, to win a major. But if he's able to just hit every fairway and roll around there, make par, I think he'll be in the mix on the weekend. I don't think that's going to equate to him winning, but I'm comfortable taking Aaron Rai top 20, which I don't even remember what I got that at. I checked my card. FanDuel has him at plus 220. I think we got a little bit better than that. Let me check it. Yeah, we got him plus 230 for top 20, including ties. I think that's a perfectly fine bet. I think he can make the cut and be in the mix. I don't think he has a chance to win, but he's accurate enough off the tee. He should just naturally be able to navigate somewhat. Like, it's going to be such an advantage to just be in the fairway. That about does it. I also took Dustin Johnson to miss the cut at minus 145. I mean, you guys know I've talked about this basically ever since he went to live. Just bet against him in these majors. He's just completely checked out. I don't think he cares. I don't think he practices very often. And even though he won here in 2016, yeah, I think he's. I think he's at just a massive like disadvantage. Keegan Bradley, we talked about that. I have Keegan Bradley top 10. I have Seb Straka and Aaron Rai top 20s. DJ and Rory to miss the cut. Lowry and English to make the cut, parlayed, and then my outrights, which I think we went over all of those. For first round leader, I have taken Shane Lowry, which I said I think it's a really, really good setup for him with the early Thursday tee time and playing with Rory. I really like that for him. So Shane Lowry, I got him at 50 to 1. He might still be 50 to 1 on DK, so go check that out before you place any bets. I took Ludwig Oberg as well at 35. I actually got him at 40 to 1 on DraftKings, so double check that. DraftKings seems to have better odds on these first round leaders than FanDuel does. So Lowry, Oberg, and Corey Connors were my first round leader picks. Corey Connors, like I said, the form isn't great, but pretty accurate off the tee, pretty good course comp. I think he should do well here. So hopefully one of these guys has a low round, on Thursday. We don't need these guys theoretically to win the golf tournament. We just need them to play well on Thursday. I think they all have early tee times too. Let me double check that. Maybe Oberg doesn't. Let's see. So Lowry goes off at 7:40. Yeah, Oberg goes off at 7:18. And Corey Connors goes off at okay, so Connors is afternoon, 1:36. And Ludwig and Lowry are both early morning on Thursday. All right. So that does it for the overall betting card. I will be taking 3 balls. I will be taking matchups, all that stuff. So just stay tuned to my Twitter for that stuff. I might let Thursday play out and then, start attacking that Friday. But there might be something I really like on Thursday. I haven't even looked at the prices yet because they just put the tee times out like 2 hours ago. So I haven't seen a ton of these matchups yet. I can breathe. Let's look at them real quick here. Oberg over Cantlay could be interesting to me. Strack over Henley, interesting to me. Keegan and Ben Griffin is interesting. Some of these are pretty close. What do we have here? 18 hole match or 72 hole matchups. I'll look into these later, and we might dabble on some of that, but I might let Thursday play out, and then we'll start hitting that Friday. I don't know. As far as NBA goes, we'll talk more about the game tomorrow. Steve will be coming on tomorrow too, so we'll talk NHL and NBA with him, and we'll look at our FSGA teams, look into some SportWise tools as well. I think OKC is going to win this game. I think OKC is going to win the rest of the games. I told you guys that yesterday. I don't think Indiana's going to win another game. I could be wrong. They've proved me wrong quite often this entire playoff run. So they could make me eat my words, but I think OKC is just going to win out now. I think they got their bad game out of the way, and they're going to go ascend to where we know that they should be. But we'll talk NBA props tomorrow. Overall, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're tailing any U.S. Open picks, go show some love on Twitter. Interact with the tweet. I would appreciate that. I'll be live tomorrow right here. We'll go back to 11 a.m. tomorrow. I had some stuff this morning going on, but we'll be back same time, same place, 11 a.m. tomorrow. NBA and NHL previews, FSGA season-long league talk as well. Good luck with your bets tonight, DFS, fantasy sports, whatever you guys are playing tonight, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.